Hello all, welcome to One Pitch Catch. The IPL is now back again. It is scheduled to resume from the 17th, basically in a few days, involving RCB and KKR. Though obviously, it was suspended for a while until the hostilities ceased, and the updated schedule was published yesterday. Few odd things that we are seeing from the schedule, and I think the final is supposed to be on June 3rd. The playoffs start from May 30th or something like that. The playoffs, eliminators, and all that. We don't see any games scheduled for, I think, at least Chennai, Kolkata, and Hyderabad. This seems bizarre, and I think there are also questions around. Okay, what's the status of the foreign players? Is the new updated schedule going to conflict with any other international series that would have already been scheduled? What are you seeing here, Ganesh? What do you know?
I think I got to know that there is a West Indies versus England series, white ball series, which is conflicting. I think it's supposed to start on 29th May. And
Okay,
also the ECB apparently has given a NOC to all their players who are playing in IPL based on the original schedule,
all right.
not this revised one. So a few of the England players and the West Indies players are a little doubtful whether they'll come back or not.
Mm.
But I'm not sure. I mean, given the might of IPL, I think Cricket South Africa or Cricket Australia and ECB should be able to allow these players to play till June
Yeah,
3rd, or the case maybe if some teams, I mean, obviously don't make it to the finals, they can return earlier.
right.
But given that fact that I think Hazelwood may or may not come back given his shoulder injury, he didn't play the last game for RCB also. He sat out. And also, apparently, I heard that Head and Cummins have confirmed to come back.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So
But
though
is
they
SRH even in the race?
no, SRS is not in the race. They're out. But I mean, coming and playing for Pride, and
Yeah,
also they have to get back to England for the World Test Championship final. No?
yeah, yeah.
So that, I mean, again, a lot of South African players like Rabada and all, Gerald Coetzee and all those, Aiden Markram, they
Right.
also have to get back to the World Test Championship final. So
Yeah.
it's interesting to see. I mean, I think in the next 2 days, or maybe by tomorrow, we'll get a clear picture of who's coming and who's not coming. But I am assuming most of them would come, except for the Hazelwood kind of injury
Possibly.
list.
Yeah.
That's what I'm assuming. So I wouldn't be surprised if they reschedule the England versus West Indies white ball series also. Push it by
Yeah, I
the
doubt if they'll
official.
reschedule it. They'll probably just go through with whoever is available. Like I'm sure, like some of the folks in the teams that have already been knocked out, they'll be like, "What's the point of you playing there? You can figure out the contractual part." And like,
Hmm.
I don't see why a Jafra Archer can't go and play in that series rather than staying back for Rajasthan. And I think, like I was saying, the venues for the playoffs are not yet published, so we'll see whether the
Yeah, that is
game
surprising.
actually will get
That's surprising given the fact. I mean, earlier it was the as per the initial schedule, the playoffs was supposed to happen in Hyderabad and Kolkata.
yeah.
But right now, I don't see Hyderabad any matches in Hyderabad or Kolkata, and even the playoffs are TBC to be now. And even the Chennai home game that has been moved to Delhi. It's a little surprising
Weird.
to be honest. I don't know what I am assuming they could accommodate Hyderabad, Kolkata, and Chennai with the playoffs, or maybe give one playoffs to Chennai, one playoff to Hyderabad, and the final, and the other one happening in Kolkata.
Possible.
Because usually the last year's winner hosts the final,
Correct.
and
Yeah.
except for the COVID and some
Right.
weird circumstances. But I don't know how Chennai, Hyderabad, and Kolkata got missed out. It would be very interesting to see the playoff scheduling too.
Yeah, and it's quite likely that maybe it will end up being Hyderabad and Kolkata as it was originally designed, right? Let's see.
And the
Um,
rescheduling
and-
also starts with the RCB versus KKR. Like the first
correct. Yeah.
game of this year started with KKR versus RCB. So
Right.
the reschedule. And
But the Punjab
another
game got moved out later.
yeah, that's moved out later, and that's an interesting thing. In fact, the Punjab game is not given; it's not split points, not being split, and
Yeah.
they are
Yeah.
replaying that game, Punjab
Right.
versus DC, which I don't know, which is good for Punjab or good for DC, but I think it's being replayed.
But I
That's a
don't
good
think it's
challenge.
also the right thing to do, right? Because that game basically just ended abruptly. It was not washed out due to rain or whatever. It was different
Yeah, so
times.
I think they will. I think they're replaying it. That's a good thing to do. So, like I said, I mean, exciting. Another 10, 15 more days of IPL remaining.
Great. So, what's the other news that you got yesterday?
The big news, the big news about Virat Kohli announcing his retirement, and everybody singing his praises, rightly so.
Okay, thoughts?
Uh, but I mean, to be very honest, to me personally, I don't think he deserved a place in the Test team over the last 4 years' performance. Jaga, he has left the team and gone when we were 36 all out. Then it was a very important series at home versus England. He didn't turn up. I mean, you can cite personal reasons, absolutely fine. You prioritize your personal life ahead of your career or whatever, it's fine. But after all this, when you come back, you cannot walk into the team as if nothing happened. You did not perform. The last I mean, his career today. I saw a post in Cricinfo which said his first 5 years, 2011 to 2015, he was averaging 44 over
Yeah.
41 games, and then the next 5 years of 16 to 19. I mean, he was a beast, run getting machine. Over 43 games,
64 or
he averaged
something.
about 66, 67. From 2020 to 2025, 39 games, and he is averaging 30.7.
Yeah.
By no means a number four batsman at that for 5 years. If you're averaging 30.7, you cannot walk into the team. He
Yeah, and this
deserved a
includes all
drop.
opposition. Now, we're not filtering out opposition, like,
No,
excluding Afghanistan, excluding Bangladesh, and all those things.
all
All
test
of
cricket that he played.
even West Indies is included, actually. They've been
Yes,
pretty crap in the last few years,
all
but they
test
also.
cricket he played. I mean, and another stat that you shared offline was about the last 10 test matches. He scored what, 382 runs?
Yeah, I saw that in Cricket for. Yeah, they
Yeah,
scored like 82 runs, one-fourth of which came in that Perth second
but
innings,
this
basically.
and another thing is, so, okay, fine. Every batsman goes through lean patches and all those things is fine, but he didn't fix what he should have fixed. The outside off stump. This Australian tour, 8 times he was dismissed. Once he didn't bat. Once the 100 was not out. All 8 times he was outside the off stump. Keeper to fourth slip. I mean, to one first slip, second slip.
Right.
So that is, if you are a grade, you should have fixed that.
Yeah,
Tendulkar being the great that he is, he curbed that and scored a 241 in Sydney. Everybody raves about that innings. I mean, I am
right.
not. I mean, Virat Kohli has played some great innings. The Adelaide double century, the twin centuries, the Centurion 153. All those things are mind-bogglingly great innings. I am not taking away credit from all the things that he said, but I think he has been riding the wave of that middle 5 year
Right.
phase of his career where he averaged 66.7, and that kept him going for the next 5 years. But ideally, it should not have, because during the same phase, if you take the same consideration, even Cheteshwar Pujara was
Yeah.
kind of averaging 30.
Yeah, it was almost 30. I think it was like 29.7 or something. Not
Yeah,
too different, right?
yeah,
I mean,
29.7 and 30.7 are more or less the same. So,
basically
but
one
he
extra
was,
run per innings.
and he's in the commentary box now.
Yeah.
So, for all his greatness, but I think he was just riding his past greatness and living his life. And this time, everybody, like you spoke in the last video, Jaga, in an interview with Michael Clark, Rohit Sharma was talking about performing in England, going to England.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he has also been extremely, even as late as April 15th or so. He's spoken somewhere about going to England.
Hmm.
I read it somewhere. I'm missing the point. So about that, but probably he was not happy about the BCCI decision of
Hmm.
the family rule and all that. He has been a great batsman, yes, but he is not like everybody makes it out to be. I
Yeah.
mean, he was for test. He made tests so interesting. All those things. I think he was just loud on the noise with his theatrics and maniacal behavior. Sometimes when India picks wickets, he lived on that, and he was just a TRP. He was a TRP person for them. So. I mean, I'm not taking away credit for the great innings he's played again and again. I repeat, but towards the end of his career, he deserved a drop. not a
Yeah,
farewell test or a retirement like this.
I think he was there in the test team for the last few years just because the selectors were not willing to take a decision.
Yeah,
That's pretty much it. I
definitely yes.
mean, it's something that you see very often in Indian cricket over the years. The person becomes so big that nobody wants to take a call. We've seen that with Saurav Ganguly in the past, and I'm sure there were other players in the past that were sort of became too big, and it was difficult to take a decision. I think this is pretty much the same case with Virat, magnified so much more because of social media and I don't know, maybe Hotstar or whatever pays him something based on how many times they have him on the camera or whatever, right?
And
So
even Ganguly was dropped from Test, Jaga.
those also, yeah, that's a point.
He
Yeah,
came back and scored a double hundred against Pakistan, I
yeah.
think, if I remember it right.
Correct,
So
correct,
I
correct.
mean, I mean, the big names have been. Dravid was not picked in the 11 times at times.
Right.
So those things have happened. I mean, he
No,
enjoyed
and I think the other thing is that neither Dravid nor Sachin or perhaps even VVS would have ever gone through 5 years with a batting average of less than
30,
31. So
30. Yeah,
at the most, it would have been 1 or 2 years, and they would have obviously sorted it out after that, which kind of goes back to what you were saying about him not fixing the underlying issues that were causing the problems in the first place, right? So
yeah, I mean,
that
he thought he was
different
bigger
problem.
than the game, and he thought he was undroppable. I always felt, I mean, Tendulkar. When you say all these big players, all the people when they say he was a great student of the game, is a phrase that comes up. But Virat Kohli, towards the end of his career, I don't think that phrase was true for him because he thought he was bigger than the game. Like you said, the
Right.
selectors were afraid, were not
I'm
bold enough, more than afraid, were not bold enough to take a call to drop him like they did with Ajinkya or Cheteshwar or even a lot of other people who've been dropped over the years.
But those are
That
not
was
marquee names, right? Virat is Virat. He draws the crowd, he draws the advertisers. So
Mm,
I think that's pretty much why we got into that stage. But one of a couple of, I mean, I think we will grant him a few things. I mean, I think he definitely did bring in a massive focus on fitness from a culture perspective into the team, which obviously may not have worked for everybody, right? I mean, you saw like somebody like an Ashwin or a Rohit perhaps didn't fit into that culture. You also had folks like Chiteshwar with wonky knees that was never going to be as fast between the wickets, and maybe that's why he got run out more times than when he was playing with Virat. But I think that culture shift that he brought in is what probably lets the Indian the players last 3 tests and 4 tests and 5 test series. I think there's a long way to go there because I was thinking about the fighter series against Australia and the one coming up against England, Jasprit Bumrah didn't last the fighters. Whereas you see a Broad or an Anderson or a Cummins or a Hazelwood, all of these folks last those fight tests. That's because their fitness levels are such that it's ingrained in their muscle memory or whatever that you can get through fight tests. I think there's a lot of work to be done because if India starts playing more fighter series, you can't afford to have your top bowlers sitting out 2 tests and taking a break and then coming back later and things like that. So I think he definitely did bring about that. Plus the whole focus on playing 5 bowlers, it did mean that you were sometimes dropping players that perhaps should have played. But I think some of those things are definitely worth calling out.
yeah, definitely. The fitness is a great thing. I think the Indian cricket owes to Virat Kohli for the fitness mantra he brought into the team and everybody. I mean, of course, there are like outliers, like a few names that you said, but still, overall, I think fitness has been given the priority that it needs to be given because of Virat. I think, and even today at 35, 36, what he is completely
Right.
fit. I think he can last a five test series, two five test
Yeah, yeah.
series back to back. I mean, provided he scores runs. In
Still
terms of
running around in the field, fetching the ball
Hmm.
from somewhere,
Yeah.
snarling at the camera, and all those things.
So all those things. I mean, fitness wise, I think he can play for another 4 5 years. I think if he continues playing. So right now it's just the ODIs for him and and Rohit. Let us see if they call it a day
I think we'll
together.
see the BCCI organize a lot more ODI series going forward because that's the only way we're going to see them play.
And IPL. We'll have two IPLs a
And
year.
IPL.
So
Uh,
but
so,
that
so
brings us to
what do you think
the
are
very,
all the replacements then?
yeah, that's the interesting question. Who is going to bat at four? Um,
Or even open for that matter, with Rohit also out.
Rohit out, yes. I mean, but initially, if you see the last four games, mostly it was Rahul and Jaiswal who opened.
Yeah.
So Rahul and Jaiswal, but Rahul being Rahul, he can be pushed around, he can be moved to four. But again, Rahul is not a long-term option for four. He's, I mean, if you want to blood a youngster into that four, at that four level, at number four, I don't know who is there. I mean, Karun is a name that comes to mind, but Karun again is not an youngster anymore.
Yeah.
Um, I will the selection committee go back to Ajinkya or Pujara for one series, because being a very big series
Yeah.
in England, that's doubtful given the way that the seniors are one by one getting out. Um, I don't know if Sai Sudarshan has. I mean, most likely Sai Sudarshan has done enough to earn a slot in the England squad, I think. But I don't know if he can suit in at number four. If he has to open,
Hmm.
then Rahul has to go to number four, unless Gill is going to be captain and he decides to move to four in
Possible. Yeah.
in the Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, Shubman Gill order.
Right.
So that
You
is
also have
the
Shreyas Iyer as a
I,
possibility to
Shreyas
be
Iyer is a
in the
possibility.
team.
I
But
mean, the names that come to our mind are Shreyas Iyer, Karun Iyer, and Sai Sudarshan. I mean, Sai Sudarshan, of course, will go up and Rahul will come down. Rahul can be asked to bat anywhere. So let's see. I mean, I think our five is fixed with punt anyway.
yeah.
So,
I think the other thing we'll see is, I don't know, my gut feeling here is that I doubt if they'll go to a Karun or a Ajinkya or a Chiteshwar, because this gives Gautam Gambhir and his coaching staff a good opportunity to basically start from scratch with a new bunch, build with a 5-year horizon in mind.
yes,
Uh, Weirdly, it also enables them to have excuses in case things don't go well, because they can say, "Hey, we are in a rebuilding phase, and shit like this will happen."
transition, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think they will go for a younger group of players. It'll be interesting to see the remaining names that do come up. Like, is a Sarfraz, for example, still in the scheme of things? He definitely played very well in the home tests in England earlier last year, and maybe not that much of an impact in the New Zealand series, but he was at least there and thereabouts, and then didn't get a single game in Australia. But what are the other names? We'll have to probably look at the Ranji
I mean,
Trophy numbers as well.
Patidar and Padikkal
Yeah,
are the two names who played test recently, but Patidar was a big flop in the England
yeah.
series. He was a big letdown.
He's out of.
Padikkal had one or two good scores here and there, but I don't know.
He
I mean,
scored a
like
50 in Australia, but then
yeah,
he kept
mm,
getting. I think he kept nicking outside off also. So I think that's the other thing, right? With the series being away, a lot of the technical gaps may start manifesting themselves. In a home series, if you're debuting, it's probably a lot more safer than debuting away.
true.
So that's a worry for somebody like a Sai Sudarshan or any other new people that come in.
But Sai Sudarshan has scored a lot of runs in county also. Last year he played.
Yeah, that's true.
Earlier he went to county and scored a lot of runs. So Sai Sudarshan is a name that everybody should be uh, penciling in definitely into the squad. Let's see if he'll be a starter in the 11.
Cool. Great. That kind of wraps it up. So we'll come back again once the IPL resumes in a few days' time. And till then, please stay tuned in, watch our videos. We do put out shorts as well. So please do watch them and give us your feedback. Subscribe to the channel, One Pitch Catch. Thank you all.
Thank you
Bye.
all.